Is it possible to memorize the entire fretboard? Sure. Does it make sense to start with key marker points so that we can get our bearings and speed up the process? Definitely. Here's my plan for my brief time with you today. I have 6 mnemonic devices that I've either curated or created to accelerate your ability to memorize 3 remarkable rows on your fretboard for the purpose of chord placement, scale placement, capo placement, and anything else you want to discover and play up the neck. Are you ready?
Let's do this!
Okay, let's do this. These 6 devices come in pairs, and we can find them ascending or descending across the frets at 3 locations where only natural notes exist. And where are these locations? They are at frets 0, 5, and 10. Until we cross the repeating threshold at the 12th fret, nowhere else on the guitar neck can natural notes be found straight across the frets in standard tuning. Every other fret has at least 1 and as many as 6 notes that can be classified as either a sharp or a flat. Let's start with the open strings from lowest to highest. The notes are E, A, D, G, B, and E. You may already know these, and you may even know the memory device I'm about to offer. It's Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Nice, right? Let's try going the opposite direction at this same location. The notes are E, B, G, D, A, and E. The memory device I'll suggest here is Easter bunnies get dizzy at Easter. Yes, I know these devices are just a little bit hokey, but hey, sometimes we need to get a little silly in order to memorize things well. Let those 2 devices sink in as you memorize these natural notes at fret 0. Now we move on to fret 5. These notes may not be as well known to you, but fortunately, I'm about to make them a whole lot more accessible. From lowest to highest, they are A, D, G, C, E, and A. The memory device I've come up with for these is After dark, gophers chomp every apple. Sure, gophers could eat apples if they wanted to, when they wanted to. So picture a bunch of gophers chomping apples after dark. Let's reverse those notes with A, E, C, G, D, and A. That memory device I've created is All elephants consume grass during April. Okay, so we've got animals eating plants here at the 5th fret. That's fine, but more importantly, we have some memory devices with mental handles that we can grab onto. Take time to become familiar with these 2 memory devices at fret 5. Finally, let's jump up to fret 10, where we have 1 more row of natural notes. It's time for some fun animals that like to move in a festive fashion as we learn 2 memory devices I've made up for you. The ascending notes are D, G, C, F, A, and D. Ready? My wacky mind goes here. I say, dancing gorillas can frolic all day. Sure, why not? And before the frolicking is done, we can go the opposite direction with D, A, F, C, G, and D because, wait for it, dogs and ferrets can go dancing. And that wraps up our mnemonic devices for fret 10. Let's do all of these one more time. I'll say the memory device, and then I'll say the notes. At fret 0, ascending, we have the memory device, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. The notes are E, A, D, G, B, E. Let's do fret 0, descending. Our memory device is Easter bunnies get dizzy at Easter. The notes are E, B, G, D, A, E. Let's move up to fret 5, ascending. Our memory device is After dark, gophers chomp every apple. The notes are A, D, G, C, E, A. Let's descend on fret 5 with the memory device. All elephants consume grass during April. Lots of herbivores enjoying their food at the 5th fret. The notes are A, E, C, G, D, A. Let's head on up to fret 10 with the ascending memory device. Dancing gorillas can frolic all day. And of course, those notes are D, G, C, F, A, D. Let's wrap this up by descending on the 10th fret with the memory device. Dogs and ferrets can go dancing. Lots of festive movements on this 10th fret. Our descending notes are D, A, F, C, G, D. Well, there you have it. 6 memory devices designed to help you memorize the natural notes in 3 remarkable rows at frets 0, 5, and 10. I invite you to spool back through these to make sure you've got them. Say them and play them. Smile and shake your head at them. More importantly, use them to claim essential locations on the fretboard. And before you know it, you won't have to think about what you're playing. You can just make great music. Why is all of this relevant? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of our time, we can quickly locate movable chords and scales, and we can more intentionally place our capo, especially when we can leverage these marker points up the neck. And P.S., if you've looked closely at the names of the notes I've provided for these fretboard locations, you'll probably notice that some are boldface, some are plain type, italic, etc. And as you might have guessed, that's because they are classified on my maps by register. So good, right? Feel free to check out my sample lesson on fretboard mapping like a retro video game, and stay tuned for more fretboard fun down the road with the 5 sweet boxes. What are those about? You'll see. These kinds of fretboard tools are fun, memorable, and super useful. Now remember, it is possible to memorize the entire fretboard, but I'd submit to you that it doesn't happen instantly. We need to work strategically over time. And the good news is, I have a method that I've never seen used by anyone else, and it has proven itself. The better news is that I've laid it all out clearly with tools like the ones you've discovered today. During this brief mini lesson, I've given you a small window into what's possible. There is so much more. In Guitar Success for You, my online monthly membership, my members go through a 6-stage success path where they move through carefully crafted lessons that lead to a clear understanding of the guitar. In the knowledge stage of our success path, we take 18 weeks to steadily build out the fretboard so that we can claim it from every possible direction. This leads to better retention. And don't worry, we also discover some amazing color chords each week of this stage to help keep the content fun, light, and musically interesting. But as you might imagine, these materials are available to members, which leads me to the best news. You can join this amazing community and raise your game as a guitar player for the glory of God. Check out guitarsuccessforyou.com to discover what you might be missing in your guitar experience. I hope to serve you as a guide on your guitar journey. Keep showing up, and I'll see you soon. And that wraps up our mnemonic.